The 80-20 rule, get more done in less time. Richard Koch, change your focus, multiply your results. The overwhelmed founder. Alex Navarro stared at his overflowing to-do list and felt the familiar knot of panic tighten in his chest. As CEO of Spark Metrics, a data analytics startup in Miami, he was surrounded by opportunity. Investors were interested, the product was solid, and the team was talented. Yet every day felt like a battle against time. He raced from one meeting to the next, answered endless emails, and tried to juggle marketing, product development, hiring, and sales. Sleepless nights left him foggy. He was drowning in tasks, many of which seemed urgent, but failed to move the needle. One evening, Alex realized he had spent 3 hours drafting a partnership proposal that ultimately fell through. He had devoted days to refining slide decks, only to watch potential clients ghost him. Meanwhile, key metrics stagnated. Burnout loomed. He wondered, how can I possibly get everything done? That night, a friend sent him an article summarizing the 80-20 rule, the principle that roughly 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. It was first discovered in economics and repurposed by Richard Koch to maximize leverage and productivity. A spark flickered in Alex's mind. What if he could identify the vital 20% of his activities that generated 80% of results? That single idea became the catalyst for transformation. Discovering leverage. The next morning, Alex sketched 2 columns on a whiteboard. High-impact tasks and low-impact tasks. He listed everything he did in a typical week. Under low-impact, he wrote, schedule internal meetings, respond to every Slack notification, finalize expense reports, update website copy, and review every pull request. Under high-impact, he listed, close enterprise contracts, design product roadmap with CTO, coach top sales reps, and cultivate key investor relationships. It was glaringly obvious. Most of his time went to low-impact chores. He felt a surge of both excitement and fear. Excitement at the potential efficiency, fear at the thought of letting go. He decided on an experiment. For 1 week, he would ruthlessly protect 2 hours each morning for nothing but high-impact tasks. All other tasks would be delegated or eliminated. At 7 a.m. Monday, he closed his laptop, silenced notifications, and focused solely on strategizing a new pricing model, one that could unlock higher margins. 2 hours later, he emerged with a clear proposal and a plan to test it. The clarity felt intoxicating. By Wednesday, he had a pilot group of clients on the new pricing. By Friday, one client emailed, "This changes everything." Revenue projections for the quarter jumped by 30%. Alex realized small shifts in focus yielded outsized returns. Embracing selective ignorance. With the initial win fueling momentum, Alex dove deeper into Koch's philosophy. He discovered the concept of selective ignorance, intentionally ignoring the 80% of inputs that produce little value. It felt counterintuitive. How could ignoring be productive? Yet the evidence was clear. He examined his calendar. All the internal stand-ups and ad hoc brainstorms occupied 10 hours a week. He experimented by cancelling one recurring meeting, the daily sync with marketing. Instead, he set a shared dashboard and asked the marketing lead to flag only critical updates. Productivity soared. His team felt empowered. They no longer waited for his approval on every minor detail. He extended selective ignorance to email. Instead of answering every message, he set up filters. Client emails and investor notes landed in his inbox. Everything else went into a folder he reviewed once a day. Slack notifications were muted. Only direct mentions pinged him. Within days, he reclaimed 4 hours each week. The result? Alex used that time to mentor 2 promising junior team members. One designed a new dashboard feature that increased user engagement by 25%. The other refined the onboarding flow, reducing churn by 15%. By ignoring the trivial, he amplified the vital. Focusing on the vital few. Armed with newfound bandwidth, Alex tackled another core idea, the vital few. He mapped every revenue source and feature of Spark Metrics, ranking them by ROI. The analysis revealed that 20% of features drove 80% of customer satisfaction, and 20% of customers generated 80% of revenue. He prioritized accordingly. Development efforts pivoted to enhancing the top features, data visualization templates, and real-time alerting. The team sunset the less-used modules, social media monitoring, and legacy API connectors. This freed engineers to double down on innovation rather than upkeep. Simultaneously, the sales team retargeted their outreach. They focused on mid-market tech firms, the segment that accounted for the bulk of revenue, not small mom-and-pop shops. Marketing redirected ad spend from broad LinkedIn campaigns to precision events favored by those mid-market leads. Within 2 months, the sales cycle shortened by 20% and close rates improved by 35%. Alex realized that when you focus on the vital few, momentum compounds rapidly. Building a leveraged team. Real transformation required going beyond personal productivity. Alex recognized the 80-20 rule applied to team structure too. He audited his leadership style. Which reports generated the most impact? Which direct reports accelerated progress? He identified his top 20% of team members, those who consistently drove breakthroughs. He invested heavily in their growth, one-on-one coaching, tailored training, and clear career paths. He delegated strategic responsibilities, product vision, major partnerships, and hiring decisions. Conversely, he addressed underperformers. Some needed coaching, others needed different roles or even exits. It was painful, but vital. By aligning roles to strengths, he raised overall productivity. The empowered top performers delivered new features faster, closed larger deals, and mentored rising stars. Alex also instituted a 20% time policy. Each T-shaped engineer and marketer could spend 1 day a week on passion projects that might benefit Spark metrics. This sparked creativity. The CTO's side project evolved into an AI-driven anomaly detection tool that later became a premium add-on. Through selective investment in the vital few, Spark metrics grew stronger, leaner, and more innovative. Systematizing success. Inspired by Koch's insights, Alex knew lessons from the 80-20 rule must be embedded in Spark metrics' DNA. He designed systems to ensure persistent focus on the vital. Weekly 80-20 review. Every Friday morning, the leadership team met for 30 minutes. They reviewed top metrics, asked, which 20% of efforts drove our results this week, and planned next week's priorities accordingly. Quarterly priorities. Each quarter, they listed the top 20% of goals, revenue targets, feature launches, or strategic partnerships. Everything else received lower priority or deferment. Decision filters. Before launching new projects, they applied a simple test. Will this initiative be in the top 20% of impact? If not, postpone or kill it. Empowered autonomy. Team members defined their own 80-20 priorities. Managers reviewed and aligned them with company goals, ensuring individual focus scaled to organizational leverage. These systems became self-reinforcing. The culture shifted away from busy, busy, busy to focused impact. Burnout faded, engagement soared, scaling with strategic partnerships. With an 80-20 mindset ingrained, Alex looked externally for exponential growth. He mapped potential partners, other startups, industry influencers, and tech platforms. He rated them by reach and synergy. The results: 20% of partnerships delivered 80% of referral traffic. One collaboration with a major cloud provider's marketplace integration generated a surge in qualified leads at nearly zero acquisition cost. Another alliance with a niche analytics podcast introduced Spark metrics to hundreds of potential clients. Alex built a partnership playbook capturing the 80-20 process, how to identify, pitch, and integrate with high-value partners efficiently. This template slashed time to onboard new alliances from weeks to days. By focusing on a small number of strategic collaborations, Spark metrics expanded market presence far beyond what traditional marketing could achieve. Personal mastery of the 80-20 rule. While Spark metrics thrived, Alex realized the 80-20 rule could further transform his personal life. He evaluated his daily habits. Of the 10 books he read last year, 2 changed his outlook profoundly. He resolved to focus on those genres, biographies of innovators and strategy treatises, rather than random bestsellers. Of his 10 weekly fitness sessions, 2 delivered the bulk of health and energy benefits: high-intensity interval training and yoga. He cut distractions, focusing on those. Of his morning routines, the 2 habits that unlocked his best days were journaling and a power walk. He made them non-negotiable. He extended selective ignorance to personal commitments. Instead of attending every industry networking mixer, he chose the few events that produced meaningful connections. He reduced social media time to a single 30-minute slot daily. The result was profound. Alex felt more energized, more fulfilled, and more present, both as a leader and as a person.